Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and today I'm going to be unboxing this. Let's get rolling. All right, so I'm ready to open this giant box. I'm recording this on Wednesday, October 18. I just got this about 20 minutes ago, delivered, and I might be the last person in the world to get my Voidfall pre-order. I ordered it off of GameFound, and it was actually it's the very first game I ever backed on crowdfunding. So I'm super excited to get in here. The part of the reason the box is so big is I also ordered all things Anachrony. I'm going to unbox those in another video, but they're going to be in here, so I've got to at least take them out. So that's part of the reason this box is so big. If you've followed the Voidfall campaign at all, there's been a lot of chatter online about the packaging and delivering for the US and Canada, and I've seen a lot of reports of damage. So I was pretty worried. A lot of damaged boxes. But because I'm at the end of fulfillment, I've got these nice corner protectors. These, I guess they're plastic, on all 8 corners of the box, which I don't think most other people had. So I guess it pays to be last. I did notice on this side, you can see I've got a bit of a ding. There's a little hole. So we'll see what it looks like on the inside, but hopefully everything's okay. I'm feeling more confident than I was a couple weeks ago. So let's get this thing open. I was really worried that it might just not be coming. I'd been waiting so long, and so many other people, U.S. fulfillment had taken a long time, but the chatter had kind of died down, and it sounded like everybody had pretty much gotten their copy, and I was still waiting without a tracking number or anything. So I was getting ready to buy the Galactic edition off of the publisher's website, but it sold out pretty quickly before I found out if this was in the mail or not, so I'm glad I didn't miss it. All right, corner protector. Yeah, it's plastic. Let's get it open. All right. There's going to be a lot of stuff in here. Now, to me, so far, this looks like it's pretty well packed, and I think I got lucky. I don't think this was everyone's experience. So I'm seeing some Anachrony pieces here. These were just on top, but nothing looks broken. I'll examine them later. Some more Anachrony stuff. These are the sleeve packs for Voidfall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like the right number of packs to me. More Anachrony pieces. Future Imperfect. Exo Minis. Here's the main game. Oh my, that's heavy. Expansion. Fractures of Time. Oh, the Anachrony metal cubes. Cool. So here's the metal structures. These are the installations and the guilds. And the main event. Wow, look at that. That's really beautiful. I didn't realize the Voidfall name there would be, I forget if embossed is the right word, but it's, the positive. It's popping out of the box. That feels really nice. I see I've got the English box. That's a good sign. Let's get rid of some of this bubble. So looking at it here, I might have just a minor wrinkle in this edge of the box, just right here. It's super minor, though. I don't know if I even would have noticed it had I not been so worried about it. Let's get this other wrapper off. That is truly massive. This is, I don't have the Infinity box to compare, but this is by far the largest game I own. And for, I wanted to compare too. For comparison, side by side, and then the depth as well. Go this way. Yeah, this is pretty giant. Similarly, I've also got here Spirit Island, which is similar in size to Terraforming Mars. Again, just to give you some idea of the size of this box. And then I also grabbed the largest box I had up until this point. That's Nemesis. My goodness, it just looks dwarfed by comparison. That's silly. That's something. Wow. That's pretty cool, though. I know it's jammed full of stuff, so let's get into the stuff. Again, we've got the sleeves and the enamel painted metal structures. I can download the app. That's been up for some time. What have we got? All sorts of cardboard punch-outs. And they're all together here in a plastic wrapper. So it looks like we've got the safe haven tiles, the agenda offer, catastrophe tokens, a couple of random glory tokens. These look like the backsides of some reclaim tokens. Here's the technology blocker, some of the combat tiles. And there's 2, 3, 4, 5 layers to this icon reference sheet. So you can just quickly flip through these 4 A4 size pages to find the icon you're looking for and what the heck it means. Luckily, I've played enough of this already on Tabletop Simulator that I've got it down. And I guess now's a good time to plug, too. If you haven't seen it on Board Game Geek, or if you haven't gotten that last update from Kickstarter and GameFound, I made a beta version right now, solo campaign of that you can play in Voidfall. It's 5 missions long. And the effects of one game carry over to the next. You can download it on the website, as usual, tableforone.games. Go to free content, scroll down to Voidfall. It's available in A4 and US letter. And there's a low ink version too, if you want to be cautious about printing it, but it looks really pretty if you if you use the original. It is still the beta, so go ahead and give me some feedback on it. Let me know what you think. And I'll plug that I have gotten some feedback already from one of Voidfall's 2 main designers. David Terzi has been kind enough to play through my campaign and give me some notes. So I'll make some modifications and revisions and then re-release it later. But you can go ahead and check it out now. This is how all the trays work. This is how all the trays go together. We're going to need this. At the end of this video, I'll do a reboxing. Here's the rule book. Glossy. I've read through it a couple times. The glossary, super helpful. This is great for looking up whatever your question is. You can find it super quick usually. I think they did a great job with the glossary. And then the compendium. I kind of like the spiral bound. This is the all the different setups. And a little bit of lore. So those are the booklets. Now let's get into the trays. And I will say, Mind Clash Games did an awesome unboxing video in the campaign. So I'd recommend you check that out too if you really want to see all the components in detail. I'm going to be focusing more on the assembly of some of this stuff and then how to put it all back together. Big tray on top with a lot of corruption pieces, and then this top lid is the agenda offer, which I thought was really smart. You can pass this around the table and it holds all the agenda cards. Similarly, I really like this tech tableau. This holds all the tech cards, and then you can pass it around the table so you don't have to ask your opponent, hey, what's that card right there say? Not that I want it, you know? So I thought this was super cool too. Looks like we have player trays. 2 on this side and 2 on this side. These are the fleet tokens. They each come in a bag. Ooh. Pegs. We're going to need these. Set those aside. More pegs. I guess I need to be checking all the nooks and crannies. So let's check some of those other boxes real quick, or trays that I discarded so quickly. So this one just looks like technology cards and alert cards. Oh, and some origin cards. These are much smaller than I was thinking. I knew that technology cards were this size. Oh, look at that. Fallen House cards. I knew the tech cards were this size, but playing on Tabletop Simulator, I kind of assumed a lot of these were regular, like standard card size. Even though I suppose I knew they weren't because I knew what size sleeves were coming with this. But I don't know, it's just how my brain interpreted those cards. Interesting. So here's the turn order markers and the trade tokens. And it looks like this one just has the civilization track markers, which are larger than I was imagining. So let's make sure I didn't miss anything in this top tray. So we've got a fleet token stands, fleet token, the rest of the stands, the sticks. Here's the corruption markers, harbingers. It's really funny, the scale on these things. Just after playing on Tabletop Simulator, I had it all wrong. Harbingers are a little smaller than I imagined. Corruption markers are bigger. Here's the Void Storm. Oh, I really like the feel of that plastic. It's got maybe something a little rubbery about it on the outside. Okay, so here's the larger fleets. Wow, they really are big. The carriers and the dreadnoughts are giant. A couple of these looks like they moved about a little during transport, but you know, they're spaceships. It's what they do. They all appear to be in good shape. Man, these are huge. Wow. Just a cardboard separator. I don't think we'll need that. Here are the house trays, the much maligned house trays. People say they sometimes stick together. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, the 14th one does stick inside the lid a little. I could see how people might think they had 13. But there they are. These player boards are enormous. And these are the limiting factor to the size of the box I can see. Wow. Cool though. Yeah, I've been playing on Tabletop Simulator for months, and it's just kind of wild to have this in my hand now. Here's the Galactic board. This is the competitive side. And here's the co-op side. This is the side I'm more familiar with because I've been playing solo, as you might expect. On table for one, just since this one was on top. That is super cool. I am real pleased with that. And that's what's on the back. Okay. Neat. I have every reason to believe I've got all 14, but let's check. 1, 2, Valnus is the house that you play as in my first campaign, which is called Palace of the False Prophets. 4, 5, maybe I should put them down here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Awesome. The population dice are a little smaller than I thought they were. Which is not a problem. I just thought they were bigger. Fleet power cubes for the players and for the Voidborn. I'll have to separate those out. Okay. The crisis board. This giant plastic tray. Down here we've got all the sector tiles. Double-sided. It's triple layer cardboard, a flat layer in the middle, which I think is all you get with retail. And then an extra layer on each side so pieces don't slide around. Here are the crisis cards, galactic events, technology cards, focus cards. That appears to be it. Yes, and honestly, that's enough. So I think I'm going to take a minute to really sort through all this. I'm going to unwrap everything. I'm going to, count all the quantities, make sure I've really got everything, but it looks like I do at first glance. I'm going to sleeve all the cards, and then I'm going to assemble the production dials using these pegs. A lot of people have put those together not the right way. They've made some mistakes, and it's really a pain in the butt to take apart. So I'm going to do some of that right now. I'll pause the video, and then I'll come right back, and we'll put some of these things together. So just stick around for a minute, and then after it's all put together, I'll rebox it. So here we go. So I want to talk real quick about how to assemble all these dials, because a lot of people have messed it up, and I seem to have gotten it right on the first try, but I got to read about a lot of other people's mistakes on the way, so I want to try and help you avoid that. So there's going to be one of these influence counters for each player color: green, blue, pink, and yellow. And each of these has 3 dials on it, and they match the player color, and they're these dials that just have the big numbers on them from 0 to 9, and the numbers are all in black. These influence dials get light gray pegs. So there's light gray and there's dark gray, and there's fewer dark gray. And so a lot of people have made the mistake of trying to put the dark gray on here, but there's actually not enough. These get light gray. These big production boards get light gray for these top 4, and the dark gray go on this darker piece here on the bottom. This is the science resource. So on the back side of these other wheels, notice there's 2 sets of wheels for each type of resource. So there's 2 green, 2 brown, 2 blue, 2 pink, 2 yellow. And one of them is just a ring of numbers from 0 to 15, and 15 is red. The other has two sets of numbers. There's a set on the outside from 0 to 13, and a set on the inside from 0 to 15, and the 15 is red. So it's important to note the difference. And it did a really good job on the back here. Each type of dial is labeled on the back here with a number from 1 to 10. So make sure when you're putting the dial on, you're just matching up, okay, dial number 1 goes here, dial 2 goes here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so when you put these on, these pegs have a male side and a female side. Put the female side in from the front. So put that in first and it should pop through. Then you take the dial. So in this case, I need dial number 9, which is blue, dial number 9. It goes here, and I'm going to just hold this peg on the back side and press the center of the dial on. And then I take the male side of the peg and pop it here. And you have to press a little forcefully. You'll hear it snap. There we go. And now the dial spins. They are pretty tight dials, but that is helpful. I think they'll loosen up over time, but also your dials won't be spinning freely because these keep track of all your resources. So again, you take this the female side of this peg, put it through the front here. There we go. Now I need dial number 10. Line up 10 and 10. And press it on. And then I get the male side of the peg. Press that on, and it will pop into place. Great. All right, so it's actually one day later. I was just getting rushed for time when I was doing the unboxing originally, but a day's gone by and I've been able to assemble the rest of the dials as well as get all of the cards sleeved. So there's a couple other things I wanted to point out before I do a reboxing. The first is on these dials. So I talked a little bit about how to assemble them. Again, the dark gray pegs are for these 4 resource boards, and it's just for this bottom science one. Again, don't make the mistake of putting the dark pegs on this influence one. This one gets light pegs. You'll run out of pegs. Although I did have a lot of extra pegs in mine, as well as one extra pink fleet cube, which was kind of funny. But so anyway, if you do happen to assemble these wrong, if you've already done it and I'm too late, I wanted to point out, I've seen online, people have talked about using like a butter knife and use the back of the knife, not the bladed side, but the flat side, and you can kind of work it under the peg that you're trying to get off and kind of work it around gently. And that way you can maybe pop it off. There might be a little damage to the cardboard, but at least it'll be on the back and not on the front facing side where you have to look at it. That's what I would have done if I had assembled them wrong. The other thing I've seen, some people have talked about using dental floss to wrap it around there and sort of pull it off. I imagine that not working as well as a butter knife myself, but I just wanted to point that out in case you're already in that situation. Next, I want to talk about these house trays a little bit and what I found was the best way to put things together. So here's one of the trays. They're all identical. And I've got house, I believe it's Astrotron. I was going to say Astrotron, but I think it's Astrotron. So what I do is the first thing is this Fallen House card. I always put this face down in this little slot here in the bottom. Reason being, if I take one off the stack and lift it, I can peek under it. I'll hold it with my finger now, but if I look at it, I can see what house it is. It has the house name in the picture. So that way it's sort of easy to figure out what's going on. And there's 2 little tabs here. I use those to separate the technologies and origin cards. So I've got Deep Space Missiles here. There's the improved version, the basic version without influence, basic version with influence, and then Origin Card A, which gives you Deep Space Missiles. So those all sort of go together. And I've done the same thing here with Origin B. So those nubs kind of like help to keep these in place. They slide a little bit with them being sleeved and a little taller. but it still mostly does the job. And then I take the remaining focus cards that are house specific, and I put those on top to kind of keep everything in place. And then from the top, you can also see the house name there. So I'm going to put that on the top of the stack here and the cover. And what I've done is I've organized them from top to bottom. These are all in alphabetical order. So that just helps me to know what is where. You can do whatever you like. Again, there's if you go on to Board Game Geek, you can find people have made stickers that you can put on here. You can print out and then label the sides so you know what text and what houses are in each of these. I'm sure there's going to be some different types of organizers on Etsy as well. So I'm sure you can find that if you're looking for it. But was that it? I think so. So let's do the reboxing now. So this bottom layer I put back in the box. I don't expect to ever take it out again. But in this bottom layer, you can split up your hexes into 4 roughly equal piles. And they go like that. Catastrophe tokens go in this well here. These are all of your alert cards as well as the war cards. These are all your galactic events. These are the 3 solo co-op setup cards, and then all of the joint focus and heroic focus go there. And then the crisis cards, in this stack I've got all the 0s, the 1s, and about half the 2s. And then in this stack I've got the other half of the 2s and then all the 3s. That's just the way they fit. If yours are not sleeved, you can put all the 2s and 3s on one side, the 0s and 1s on the other, and the stacks won't be even, but they'll both fit. But with them being sleeved, it adds some height difference, so I had to split them up. So once you've got this whole section done, you're going to need this big plastic piece, and this was probably the toughest part for me. I had a hard time figuring out that this was next. There's 2 little sort of bow tie shapes here, and they line up with these bow tie shapes made from the negative space between these hexes here. That's how you line these up. So once that's back in, get all of the reminder pieces for combat. And you're going to take all these single pieces. So there's the star bases, carriers, dreadnoughts, and sentries. And they're going to go in that inset right there. Then there is a larger piece for the destroyers that's going to go on top of it. Again, there's an inset so it won't slide. You need the technology blocker from the Galactic board. That goes in this space here. And then all of that gets covered with this larger main piece of the combat reminder card. And that fits nice and snug. We're also going to grab the 5 safe haven tiles in any order, and they're going to go up in the top right corner here. Next, you want the crisis board. And I do want to point out, this is not the same order everything came out in originally, but this is the order that it goes back in. So if we put the crisis board here, there's a slot for it, so that fits nice and snug. I put the Galactic board next. And then you see these little, maybe you can see, maybe not, but these corners here are for the 4 large player mats, which I didn't realize until the next day that they are color-coded. I thought they were all identical, but that's kind of nice too. I didn't notice that that touch. So these, all fit in that little space without sliding. So this piece of plastic here and these safe havens on the top of this board are all the same height now. The next thing I would do is take all these house trays. Again, I put mine in alphabetical order from top to bottom, and they go in this top left corner. And if you arrange them the same way I arranged them, they're going to come up. You can see there's this orange sort of stripe around the outside, and then it's black the rest of the way down. This comes up to just below this orange stripe. If you put the cards, if you arrange them in there a little bit differently, it's a little bit less efficient. You'll have it might come up to the top of this box. I haven't had the problem where it's lifting the lid itself, but I've had it come up to the top. If that's the case for you, that's fine. It'll still be okay. Let me grab this. So each of the player trays, you're going to have all the 14 Fleet Power cubes on one side, the color-coded standard focus cards in there, as well as the influence board. Then you'll have 3 track markers, these clear squares, 1 matching colored dice, and this turn order indicator. And then you'll have one of these. These are all identical. These resource trackers, put that on top. Put a lid. Now we're going to grab these 14 player mats. Again, I put them in alphabetical order so I can quickly get through them. And they're going to go in the bottom right corner here. You probably have a little wiggle room, but that's really the ideal placement for it. They're going to take this tray, which has your dreadnoughts and your carriers, and the lid, kind of helps you to know that that's where they go as well. There's reminders. That's going to go right here. Now the player trays, we're going to split up. There's going to be 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. And in this space in between, this void, if you will, we'll grab the rest of the spaceships. And again, the lid does a really good job of reminding you of what goes in here, but you've got all the corvettes, the destroyers, the sentries, and then the voidborn corrupted corvettes. So that fits here. On top of these ships, we're going to put the 2 common supply trays. So these are identical. They're going to have, each one of these will have 16 of these fleet stands, 16 of the other half of the stand. It'll have half of your bounty tokens, half of your reclaim tokens, half of your glory tokens, half of your installations, and half of your guilds, roughly. Some of them are not even numbers, so can't always divide them in 2. But that's going to go right on top of the dreadnoughts and carriers. Same thing for the second box. Next, in this space, we're going to put the technology offer. Or a technology tray, maybe I should say. That'll sit flat right here. Then we've got 2 more pieces. The first is this top tray, and let me take the lid off for a minute. So this has got your void storms, your harbingers, your corruption markers, all of your non-player colored population dice, so the regular ones and the black fixed ones, your voidborn fleet power, trade tokens, and then the remainder of your fleet stands in 2 pieces, plus all your agenda cards. And again, mine are sleeved. The top one just sort of slides. If yours are not sleeved, they'll be compressed further, but there's plenty of room for the sleeve cards. Now we're going to take the agenda tray that is super handy, and you use it during the game, and that just locks on top of this tray. And the agenda board itself, keep it slotted right in there. There's no reason to remove it. There's nowhere else to put it. Leave it right there. That sits on top of the technology tray. And there's just enough room for all the paperwork. So there's the tray manual, as well as the companion app notice, the Galactic box tray overview. I don't know if you really need to keep these, but you sure can. I always keep everything. Here's the icon reference sheet, which seems like the Rosetta Stone at first, but it becomes second nature, I promise. This game's worth it. Here's the compendium, the glossary, and the rulebook. And that's everything. Well, let's get the lid back on here. Perfect. So that's Voidfall and a reboxing. So I didn't know that was something that would ever be needed, but then this showed up, and it was very clear to me that this was going to be, I don't know the page in the rule book, but I'm pretty sure it says in there somewhere that if you successfully put it all back in the box, you defeat the Voidborn. That's one of the victory conditions. So we did it. So I'm super excited for this game, and I hope you are too. And you can expect plenty of Voidfall content on this channel. So if that's something you're interested in and you're still here, please be sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. I would be appreciative of all those things. And let me know what you would like to see, because there's definitely going to be some Voidfall content, but I want to cater it to what you want to watch. So you let me know, and I'll be excited to do it. So that's what I've got this time. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Table for One.